Christmas season. It is upon us.
How's your holiday season, Mom?
So far, it's all right. It's almost over.
I know.
10 days, 9 days, something like that before the actual Christmas. And we've been a little bit behind, but it just keeps reminding me of what you said a couple podcasts ago, that everything rests in the winter. Everything rests, and we don't need to put a whole bunch of pressure on ourselves. So
Yeah.
this already is a difficult enough subject to talk about.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult, to pump yourself up to want to come in and talk about it. But
Right. Hi.
welcome back.
Welcome to Surviving on Wine and Cuss Words. I'm Emily.
I'm Charlotte.
Before we get started, just a quick trigger warning for discussions of sexual assault, sexual abuse, childhood abuse, etc. So yeah, like Mom was saying, we didn't put out an episode last week because we didn't want to.
Well, it was going to be really, really hard to. The way our schedules don't match up with you on midnights and me on swing shifts, it's just really hard sometimes to find the time. And then you're crazy busy with Christmas and parties and trying to get other stuff going. And, we're carrying on.
I know.
We're carrying on. We're not quitting.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a difficult subject to just dive into the week before Christmas.
And it may be something that we go to in every other week schedule to
Or
be more
just-
realistic with our schedule. So so it can be more long term, give us more time to plan
and
episodes.
prepare.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's okay. That's all right. The people demand what the people demand. And if we get influx
people-
of emails saying we want you every week, then by God, we're going to figure out a way to do it every week.
Famously, people are knocking down our doors to listen to this podcast. But
we have enough people listening that somebody out there is getting something from it. Which is why you had gone and you had referenced your books, The Courage to Heal.
yeah, so we have a great episode for you today. This episode's all about kind of the perspective of the non-offending parent.
Or friends or family. It's the book that I'm referencing, How Long Does It Hurt, says a guide to recovering from incest and sexual abuse for teenagers, their friends, and their families.
Yeah.
So it's geared towards a younger population and friends and family, people who can support them. It's a good book. However, it's funny. I don't know that I even noticed this the first time I read it when everything was going on, because there were a lot of other factors at play, and me reading the book was probably not my first order of business.
Right.
But you've got the title, How Long Does It Hurt, in big bold letters on the front cover, and you flip in the first page. Oh, well, forget my Sudokus, because forever. I don't know if that's intended to be like, yeah it's gonna hurt forever.
Jeez.
Dark. It's almost like you get it and you open it. Oh crap! And then you die. I think I put this book down for a while.
Well,
I don't
that's
think
funny.
I read it for a long time.
So who's the author? Just
Cynthia
so we can shout out.
Mather.
Okay.
And I can tell you in here, she experienced it, and that's why she wrote this book. I think it was her father. It's in the foreword.
Well, if you set expectations really low.
Why?
Well, I mean, how long does it hurt?
Forever.
There's
Well, I
nothing
know.
longer than forever.
Right.
There's nothing longer than
It's
that.
It's almost like is the realism hitting you in the face? Yeah, this is gonna.
Yeah.
No.
Congratulations. Here's your trauma. It is with you.
I put that on there.
No, you didn't.
I'm just realizing that. Why did I
Scratch
do that?
that.
No, I mean, it's okay. But why did I do that? I must have really felt like
Yeah.
it's going to hurt.
Wow, Mom. Yeah,
Forever.
Mom's a crafter. And so she's very crafty. Damn, you did put that on there.
I don't remember putting that on there. Man, I mean, there were some weird feelings going on when this was going on.
Huh.
I
guess you were feeling that kind of way.
I guess, that's a lesson too.
I thought that was kind of dark to start with.
I know, I did too when I was looking at it. Like, why is that there? Because that just makes you not want to turn the page. But that was me. That was all me. That's really weird. You block things out.
Yeah.
And, when I got this book, maybe I was just so mad at life that I didn't.
Yeah, you just put it in there. You made the text look like it matched.
Well,
from the cover.
It's being very crafty and dark all at the same time. And this book, I won't say this book wouldn't be great for you or someone who is experiencing any kind of childhood abuse, sexual abuse, domestic abuse. Because some of the kids that are referenced in here, it's a coach who is the perpetrator, or a sibling, or a grandparent, or an uncle, or a family friend, or a babysitter. It's not necessarily a parent, but it gives, at very least, it gives you a reference, no matter who you are, the discloser, the victim, or a friend. It gives you reference to what to expect, what you might be able to expect. And I'm sure it helped me the first time, but the second time reading through it, it's like, yeah, that was there. That was there. That was there. That was there. So it's very, noteworthy to say, reading it the first time when you're in a place that's so dark that you put the word forever on the first page. It might not have seemed like it helped, but then when you move past, when I, get into a state where everything's kind of normal and status quo on the outside, and you read it again, you realize it did help. You realize it did give you insight, particularly reactions. There's a whole section in here about what to do if your friend tells you what to do or how to act or the things that you do. And there's some really good stories about the different way parents reacted. This little girl, talking about telling her mom, there are quotes in here from victims, from survivors who went back to tell their stories and contribute to this book. And there's one part in here that's talking about how a mother reacted in particular. And it said, other mothers come through for their kids in a big way. This is what Mary Ellen's mom had to say when Mary Ellen told her what had happened. And what had happened, I'll get to that. She said, I walked in from work and my husband was asleep on the sofa, drunk. Mary Ellen was crying hysterically. She said, Dad raped me. I immediately took her to the emergency room. I believed her right away. I wanted to kill that son of a bitch. And it said, these moms believe their children, make reports, get them to a safe place, find a therapist for them, and try to help them move on with their lives. However, it's a rare mother who can do all this while holding herself and the rest of the family together. But give your mom a chance. She may surprise you with how much she can do. And I agree. I mean, that was more in the lines of the way that I reacted. There wasn't any question. There wasn't, it was, let's do this. We're going to be together, and I believe you, and I have no questions for you. And, there are others in here that tell stories of parents not only not believing them, which is one thing, but stories of parents who believed them but said,
still didn't
we're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know which would be a bigger
said, I don't care.
punch in the gut.
Yeah.
But there's also places in here, like it said, when it tells you to give them a chance, that because they could change. You never know. Something that's as shocking as the news, you never know how someone's going to react. And initially, their reaction could be standoffish, because I was, ashamed of myself. I was embarrassed that this is a person that
when I
loved.
disclosed to you.
Yeah, of course, all those feelings are rolling around in my head. And, you could come off
mad,
angry or mad at first. But, when you move through it and when you process through it, if your goal is to help your friend, your family member, whatever, who has told you what was going on, then you're going to move past those initial feelings. So don't be guilty about those initial feelings, because you're questioning yourself and your own judgment.
Right.
I have a part in here that says, if the abuser is someone in your family, let's say your father, then your mom may be saying things like, just tell the police you made a mistake and I'll make sure he never touches you again. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel that.
Keep it in the family.
Well, I understand that, because it's like in some ways she wants to make up for not protecting you in the first place.
Are you sure it's not she just doesn't want
this
partner?
One, yes. Yeah. I understand that
That's most
part.
of the time what it is.
But she says, just tell the police you made a mistake and I'll make sure he never touches you again. Otherwise, they're going to put him in jail and he won't be able to work and we won't have any money and we'll lose the house and end up on the streets. Your sister may be begging you to say you were lying, because what will all of her friends think when they hear about it? Or asking, why do you always have to cause trouble? And your grandparents may be trying to save your soul because it's clear to them that you're possessed by the devil. After all, their son would never do that sort of thing. These are just some of the reactions that...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it says, that stinks. You weren't the one who caused the problem, and yet all of a sudden everyone in the family is pointing a finger at you and accusing you. Maybe even calling you names like troublemaker or liar or whore. Unfortunately, this is often how family members deal with revelations of abuse. Mm-hmm. They have trouble believing it happened and have trouble controlling their emotions. So, it goes through a big, wide range of responses and how you can get out of them, how you can ask yourself questions that direct you in the right direction. Mm-hmm. Simple things.
Right, because at the end of the day, even if, we were very fortunate that my abuser was not like a financial supporter of ours. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if you're in that position, even if it's super inconvenient, like the abuse, you wouldn't want them living with that.
No.
You want them to feel safe. There's something so valuable in safety, especially at home.
Right.
That is worth.
That's your comfort. And once you've killed your child's comfort and safety zone, then they're in a free fall.
Yeah.
If they have nowhere to feel safe and comfortable, there's places in here talking about when you tell, you might wind up in foster care. And that's scary.
Yeah.
That's when you just want somebody to believe you and help you. Mm-hmm. It says...
You just want to make it stop.
Yes.
That's not even what you want. You don't even care. You're just like...
Just stop.
Just want it to stop.
Mm-hmm. And it's not going to stop when somebody says, I'll take care of it. I'll never let him do it again. Because so many stories in this book of kids saying, yep, and then she went out with the girls and I just knew this is what was going to happen. And
yeah, of course. Because you can't be with them 24/7. You can't. It's about power.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And you've got 3 things. It only says 3 things to say when a friend tells you.
Okay, so a friend reports abuse.
Only 3 things.
Okay.
I believe you. It wasn't your fault, and you're not alone. But there's a whole list of things not to say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Why didn't you just say no? Why didn't you stop it? Why did you let him? Just forget it and move on. I know how you feel. I feel sorry for you. He is really scum for doing that to you. Maybe you misunderstood what happened. Questioning, asking questions, anything like that. There's so many things not to say.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's a book that most people are not going to purchase unless they're in that situation. But it's a book that's of huge help in case you ever are in that situation,
So 3 things that you are supposed to say.
I believe you.
Okay.
It's not your fault, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you're not alone.
Gotcha. That's it. Because most of the time, when kids disclose in here, it is simply, like you said, to make it stop.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any indication of what to do next.
Yeah.
It is, I've told someone, now that someone is going to do whatever to make it stop, whether it's call the police, whether it's go to the advocacy center, whether it's whatever. They've trusted that person enough that they think they're going to be the ones that are going to make it stop.
Right. Going back to kind of the things not to say, mm-hmm. I could make it, as an abuse victim, those things, when they were said to me, plant mm-hmm. such a deep seed in my head mm-hmm. that takes so long to scrub. Like, you literally in my head, you're like, we talked about the defense attorney. Mm-hmm. Those are the kinds of things the defense attorney kind of said during mm-hmm. cross-examination.
Why didn't you stop it?
Exactly. And those seeds, they just sit in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're not seeds, they're weeds.
Yeah.
Because they grow quick and they take hold and they kill
and then they're hard to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And they just sit there and you're like, well, I didn't physically kick and bite him, or why didn't I tell somebody sooner? Is it my fault? Those things start to plant seeds. So when somebody who loves says that to you, mm-hmm. was it really rape?
Mm-hmm.
That
mm-hmm.
one, was it like really rape?
Mm-hmm.
That.
Yes.
It makes you question yourself. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
This, your mom's response, it kind of puts me in that mind because what she says is it guides you in the way you feel and the way you react. It says how your mom sees the abuse, and this is on a story under the assumption that a dad or stepfather has made the abuse.
Right.
How your mom sees the abuse and what she does and says to you after you tell can have a huge bearing on how you see the abuse and how you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The thing to keep in mind is that every victim deserves 3 things from his or her mother or the non-offending parent: to be believed, to be supported, and to be protected. And for those of you who have a mom who has done these things and who has been there 100% for you, consider yourself lucky. There are some moms who believe every word and are there from moment one to take whatever actions are necessary to provide support and safety for you. These moms are shocked and appalled at what the abuser has done, and get this, actually believe that the abuser is the one responsible for the abuse.
Right.
They also know that things are not going to be worked out in a month or even 1 year. Their words and especially their actions show you that you are their number one priority.
Yeah.
If you have a mom like this, dealing with telling the police, the social workers, the counselors, and so on can be so much easier. Unfortunately, most mothers don't act like this.
Mm-hmm.
At least not at first. Some mothers believe what their child is saying, but haven't got a clue about how to support or protect her. Some mothers may say that the child is lying, but then come around and start standing up for him and taking care of him. Some mothers simply don't believe, don't support, and don't protect. Regardless of where your mom may be, this next section will, I hope, give you some understanding as to why your mother is acting the way she is. But pay attention, now this is important. This doesn't excuse or justify the way your mom is acting. My only goal here is to get you to understand that your mom's response is about her and not about you. I know that when she's saying things to you or acting a certain way toward you, it sure feels as though her response is all about you, but trust me, it's not. You know, that, and then it goes into several sections about why didn't she throw him out, you know, and giving reasons for why that didn't happen. This person quoted 14 and 12 abused by mom's boyfriend. These are sisters. Says it's like she doesn't care. She doesn't love us. She chose her boyfriend over her own kids. What kind of mother does that? You know, that's out there. That's out there. But this book, even if, you know, you've got a shitty reaction from a non-offending parent and you've been brave enough to tell, something like this book can help you understand that it's still not you. Those 3 reactions ring true no matter what. It's not your fault. Period.
Right.
You know, the way she's acting is not your fault, and it does help. It may not feel like it helps right when you're reading it and right when you're in the throes of everything, but when you look back, you understand that it did help.
Right.
And, you know, if I could put this in the hands of every young person, at least the parts about, you know, bless you, at least the parts about what to say and what not to say, because it's a big shock. And a lot of kids are going to tell kids first.
Yeah.
There were stories in here about how one girl told her friend, and her friend went straight to the principal, you know, like next period or whatever. And then the principal called the little girl in there, and she got mad at her friend because she swore her friend to secrecy, but, you know, working through it, her friend stopped it.
Yeah.
You know, she did the right thing. She did the right thing. And there are, you know, so many encouraging stories in there. And if I could put at least those parts in the hand of every, I don't know, 6th grader, 5th grader, somebody who needs to understand that it's not right, that someone needs to help, that someone needs to protect, that someone needs to care, and just do those 3 things. Believe it's not your fault, you know, and stay away from the don't do's. And that's what we try to do around here.
Right.
We don't ask questions. We still don't ask questions. Just, I don't, because it's not for me to know. If it was for me, and that's one thing it says in here, that you don't ask questions. There's a list of things, an even shorter list of things that it suggested not doing, and that was in there. Let's see. Be sure to keep your anger under control. You won't be any help to your friend if you're in jail because you did something violent. You also won't be any help to your friend if she thinks she has to protect you from her emotions.
Yeah.
You know, you said that when you talked about your teacher. You're like, you know, here I'm the one trying to just open up to you to let you know what's going on so that you can, my emotions may be explained, and now I'm comforting you.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Use good sense and good judgment. When you're looking for someone to talk to, be sure to pick someone who is trustworthy and discreet. You know, there's a lot of good stuff in here. What? You made a report? I mean, there's, you know, what to expect and what to do. It's almost like it reminds me of the what to expect when you're expecting pregnancy books, but on a completely different subject matter and completely different level. You know, we want to continue to encourage people to write, to listen, to call. As I said at the beginning, it's a hard subject to dive into every week. So we kind of want to just touch on a few things and then maybe throw some funny stories in there every now and then and some current situations.
Yeah.
So, see, we've gotten the story out. We've gotten the story out now. So it's just a matter of mixing in a few things and then just being happy and telling stories of life because we survived.
We did
you
do
survived.
it. Yeah,
we did do it. And that's
on.
more this than anything. It's like you see or hear these 2 women talking about this situation and they're happy and they're healthy and they're moving on with their life. Maybe there's somebody I can talk to. Maybe there's somebody I can tell to. Yes, you can. You can. I mean, I'm going to laugh because Emily is a nurse. And when we sat down here, before we started recording, she said, I was charge nurse last night and we lost a patient. And I said, you lost a patient? I'm so sorry. She said, no, he didn't die. We just lost him. Like
We just physically lost him.
we went in there to get his vitals and he was not in there. You know, we have funny stories. We have memories that we can look back on and we can share and we can get on here and laugh and tell you all sorts of funny things and good things that happen in our life. And that's because we did get through to the other end, to the light. To the light. I mean, for instance, tonight we're going ghost hunting. We're going to go to our friend's house and we're going to do some ghost hunting activities and visit with friends because that's what you do. That's what you do.
That's how you kind of live life and move on. Yeah.
And that's what we do. And that's what we're here to encourage that. Yeah. I mean, we're here to support. We're here to offer resources. We're here to answer your questions about anything. And we're also here to show you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
So going back to this first question, how long does it hurt?
Well, it's not hurting now.
So it's not forever.
It's not forever. At
It's
the
not
time
forever.
that I
At the
stickered up
time
my
it was-
book, I didn't think
that it was ever going to end. So there's a,
Yeah.
at least a success story that you're not like stuck in the thick of it
right.
all the time.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I've said it. There were
I
nights.
am, very blessed to have a mom that jumped right in and helped, because if I had met any resistance, I could see how it's super easy to cave in and say never
to
mind.
just fall back. No. I mean, I'm glad I pushed you a little bit. There were times when
I was like, never mind.
I wanted to say, well, maybe I'm pushing too hard. Maybe this is her choice. It's not my choice. It's your choice.
Yeah.
And I have to support you. And then you balance, you walk that thin line between, I'm supposed to be the mother. I'm supposed to be the caretaker and the guider. And she is still a child, at least in these times,
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to take the reins. But then you kind of think, no, part of her healing is understanding that she has control over her body, control over what she does. And I can't take that away from her after she's just gotten it back by telling.
Yeah.
There's a fine line. It really is.
Do you feel like you remember any specific moment that you were pushing me
to go that I thought that might have been too much?
Yeah.
Not in the beginning. In the beginning, it's like we were team, let's go kick some fucking ass in the very beginning. And then it kind of started, it just, when you went to school and it just started getting really monotonous and it felt like the world was against us. Yeah. There were times, I mean, I think I almost had to talk you into it. I think the night the DA called with the 9 years, maybe 12 years, and I said, let me take it to her. I don't think I ever encouraged you one way or another, but I think I had my fingers crossed that you were done, that we could get this done and just
take it.
Maybe this, and you, without a whole bunch of prompting, did. And I was like, okay, good. But then he didn't take it. So we still have to go through with it. So, were there times that, any of your friends reacted in the don't column? I mean, not necessarily the teachers, you told us about that, but friends in that column?
Yeah, so I went to a STEM school for high school. So most of my classmates in high school were male. So I had I
know a lot of your friends, direct friends, were not just your classmates, but your friends.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I had a big group of male friends who, were cringy high school boys. And so I told them, and they kind of were like, it was kind of just like a running joke.
Yeah, because he was always there.
Yeah, it was just a running joke.
Yeah,
you know, it was like, Emily gets molested at home. I mean, it's not funny, but it was kind of funny.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine having to live through that.
You know, we had another friend whose house burnt down. And it was like, oh, your house burnt down.
Kids are cruel.
Sorry, that's
Kids
terrible.
are cruel.
Probably should have never done that. But that was kind of our coping mechanism, is that we just all made fun of each other for
whatever.
For our stuff.
Well, that's why we all need therapy.
Yeah.
And
now, you know, I still talk to those people, and we come at it with a little more nuance nowadays. Nowadays, it's like, damn, you like lost your house and everything in it, and now you're just dealing with feeling insecure and in your physical belongings, and you know, he doesn't like to leave home very much, and it's like, I'm sure it's all tied to that. You know, so much of that just deeply, deeply affects us, even when we don't think it does. But you have to, you know.
Yes, I know, and there are times that you just have to let yourself understand you're not perfect either. That you may say the wrong things in this situation, but you can recover from it, because in the end, all they want is for it to stop. You know, one of my best books, I read 2 books during this journey, and the one that really affected me the most was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Because when you take on too much, nothing has meaning. So, you know, there were times in this that I was taking on so much, just trying to keep everything normal. Well, nothing was normal.
Right.
You know, and my struggle to try to keep everything like nothing was happening and then still dealing with it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It ran me thin, and it had you thinking you weren't priority, or your brother thinking he wasn't a priority, because I was just running around because I thought the best thing to do was just keep everything as it was. And then we've got this little thing on the side that we've got to deal with. But that's not the case. The case is it's your life. It's in your face. And if you don't deal with it, if you don't accept it, you just never get better. So my dad gave me The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And
that is kind of more geared towards putting your energy to what's important.
Right. And you were trying to put importance on everything, which makes nothing important.
Can you kind of talk about some of the things that you realized during our experience weren't as important to focus on and care about?
Whether or not your room was clean.
Yeah.
Whether or not you came out of your room to eat dinner. Whether or not you came home for dinner. I knew you were going to be home, but why are you not coming home for dinner? And I get upset about that. Like a normal parent, I keep using the word normal. Like a parent who isn't going through this, you know, no, I want you home for dinner. Well, you just pick and choose your battles, you know, because in the grand scheme of things, whether you come out for dinner or stay in your room because you're in a bad place at that moment. But then I was so hyper fixated on making you feel better that I wanted in here. I didn't want you alone. You know, there might have been times that you needed to be alone, but I didn't want you alone. And then that drove us to butt heads. And, you know, in standing back, understanding it's okay to let you be alone. It's okay to let you text on the phone. It's okay that the kitchen's not clean tonight because you wanted to sit and watch a movie. I don't want to be alone tonight, Mom. Can we sit and watch a movie? Well, let's sit and watch a movie. It's okay. I didn't need to. There were so many times that I would say, well, let me get this kitchen cleaned up and I'll be right there. Get the kitchen cleaned up. An hour and a half later, come in. You've already moved on to something else, and I'm too tired to watch a movie, you know? So you put the priorities on what they need to be on at the time. So I learned through that process because my priority was just, in the beginning, how can it's my duty to make this family feel normal. We got this big explosion that just happened. I have to make this family feel normal. And it just never worked. And then it just led to so much discourse,
more pressure
on each other. You know, if I knocked on your door, I'm sure you rolled your eyes like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Leave me alone. And all I wanted was, I don't want her to be alone.
Because before I told you about that, it's not like you were giving me my space before, and now I've told you about this, and that doesn't make me a different person who wants any less space.
Well, see, though, you understand then the difference between the progression. What this book talks about is I and my guilt and my, what have I done wrong, and my questioning myself and my judgment thought, I haven't been doing it right. Mm-hmm. I got to do it right.
Yeah.
I've given her space. She's been in her room. She's been allowed to stay out till 9 instead of 8 or 10 instead of 6 or whatever. I've been doing that. So evidently I fucked up.
Yeah.
So I got to pull those reins in quick and just snap back. And everybody was just thrown for a loop. You know, it's.
Because at the same time, I'm still a teenager who's developing and trying to get independence.
Which is
and
already
your reaction
hard.
Is to,
it's already hard. And then you try to discipline in a normal fashion, and then you think, oh, I can't do that because she's already been through enough. And then you get in trouble for not disciplining. And it just, it's a crazy cycle, but a recoverable crazy cycle, which is why we talk about the good and the bad, because you can get through it.
Seemed so bad.
So bad at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not necessarily drama or wanting anybody to be in on your drama. I just wanted, like I said in the beginning, to take you and your brother and the 3 of us go away and never see another person again in our lives. That was my initial reaction. Away from everybody. Mm-hmm. But you learn to deal with it. And the drama that comes along with it, you feel like you're not creating this drama, you're not inviting this drama, but there are so many reactions and feelings that feel like it's straight out of a movie.
Right.
That you would never want anybody to watch.
Right.
Like the words I just said and the fight I just had with my husband feels like it's out of a bad Lifetime movie. Mm-hmm. Where the hell did that come from?
Right.
You know, the dramatic Scarlett O'Hara falling to the floor. I don't want to get up in the morning. I don't want to, I can't go on. I don't know what to do. But at that moment.
You felt that. You really did.
That's like the only way to express it. And that, you know, it's just crazy. But recoverable. Mm-hmm. And that is our goal, to be here and encourage that everything is recoverable. You know. It's a hot topic this week, but suicide is not the answer. It's not the answer. There are people that love you, people that want you here, period. And it is a permanent solution to a temporary problem that can be helped.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the answer. Please, if you're having those thoughts, reach out to somebody. Mm-hmm. Reach out to somebody. Somebody will make it stop. I promise you, there's somebody that will make it stop. If you can't think of that person, if you look to your left and you look to your right and you can't find that person, email us.
Yeah.
Comment. We'll help you. We will help you. It's recoverable, and that's the best. That's the joy of it. I looked up, after we talked about the last episode, I think we talked about the clothesline project.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I went and looked it up and went and looked at your shirt again at the clothesline project. I want to do the clothesline project here. I want to find a place here for them to come
that'll
to.
Host it. They do it at universities, so we could do it at the college.
Maybe we do it at the college here, but
or see when it's there.
I would love to do something like that. And you know where I was thinking, well, we can talk about it another time, but there's a local bar that we go to for brunch a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought they would host that. They would host that, just hang it up all around the bar one Sunday afternoon, one weekend. We'll have to make that work. We can do our YouTube video and the podcast from there that day.
I don't know about it being at a bar, but yeah, well, I like them.
I mean, but it's a restaurant too.
Well, it needs to be spread out in like a gallery.
I think well, you're right. You're right.
That's why a lot of times it is hosted at colleges, because they have like big empty
libraries
multi-purpose rooms
and stuff like that people can go in and see them. I mean, it's very impactful, you know.
Yeah, they usually set it up like a pathway that you walk through
where you can see them all, and it's just you know, I want to do something like that here, or bring it here, or organize it here. It would be great. I just want to meet people, you know, and be the person that they could say to me what I wanted to say is, oh my gosh, I know
have someone. Yeah,
I know how you feel.
This journey's so lonely.
Yeah,
it's so lonely. I feel like nobody talks about it, and it's hard to talk about.
Yeah, you almost feel like if you talked about it, it's like anything. The more you talk about it, it's like it lessens it. Mm-hmm. Like you could talk about it ad nauseum, and it's going to be less hurtful every time you talk about it. But it's hard to start talking about it, and it's hard to hear. Yeah, you know, I mean, I doubt we'll ever have a whole bunch of listeners because it's hard to hear.
Right.
You know, the guys at work, most of them, I've heard enough, kind of like me to you. It's like, okay, that's it. I understand what's happening. Let's move on. Mm-hmm. Because it's hard to hear. You know, we had this Me Too movement and the rape culture in itself around the world was just out of control.
Yeah.
You know, just something as simple as the TikTok that I posted one time with the red screen, that whole silhouette thing, and the person that commented that said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad for modern technology that I can just remove that filter and see everything I want on these. That is rape culture.
It is.
And we deal with it every day. That is me saying, here is what I am comfortable giving you or showing you, and then you feeling you're entitled to it, coming back saying, I don't like what you've given me, I want more, so I'm just going to take it.
Yeah.
And that is it's a prevalent feeling and issue around, because it's not just about rape. It's about a rape culture.
Right.
As long as somebody thinks they can take more than that person offered them, that's what it is. You know, and so we have to stand and we have to stay on that. We have to stay firm on that. You can't take more than I give you.
Yeah.
Ground.
Absolutely.
And we have to be here for people that want us to be here. We have to move on. We have to continue with our lives.
Yep.
Every day, and we do that.
And so do you.
And we're so glad that you do, because you're listening to us. You've continued on, and continuing on is the best win.
Yes,
it's the best win.
Beautiful. You're amazing. We're so glad you're here.
That is the truth.
We're so glad you stayed.
That is the truth.
You know, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have not had it very easy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just happy that you're alive and you're here. And you're working through it, and every day gets a little easier, even though it might not feel that way.
Right. And if you're in there, check this book out. How Long Does It Hurt? It won't be forever. It won't be forever. How long does it hurt? It moves. It's subjective, but
yeah,
you can look back at this, even if you went through it years ago, you can look back at this and feel okay that what you did and how you reacted was fine. You know, because you can change. You might have initial reactions. You can learn. That's what we all do. It's what we strive to do. Learn every day. We don't do everything perfect right off the bat. We just don't. So this could definitely help, and we are here to help. We are here to listen to anyone who wants to share. We've said that before. survivingonwineandcusswords@gmail.com. Thank you for the emails, and thank you for the comments and the likes and listening to us and giving us a shot. We're going to, like I said, we've told the story. We've told the story. We're going to tell little particulars, in betweens and revelations and things like that in the future. But the story's out. The story's out. And so now it's going to be a lot about how we are surviving. And that could get into a little more fun. Yeah. That could get into a little more, because the more fun we have on here, the more hope someone who might feel hopeless right now has.
Right.
We're having fun because you can smile again. You can smile again. I know it feels like you won't, but you can and you will. We're here to help. And we appreciate you listening.
Yes.
And we appreciate you coming back. And this episode will be out before Christmas, but I'm not sure about the next one. So I'll go ahead and say, everybody have a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Yay. Yes.
Merry Christmas. And enjoy everything. And you take care of yourself. Everybody take care of yourself and the person to your left and the person to your right. Always.
Absolutely.
And it'll be a great world. So we're going to sign off for now. Is that what we're going to do? And go do some ghost hunting?
Yes. Woo! All right, everybody.
Have a great day.
Yes.
Have a great Christmas. And we will see you and talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.